Hello, this is Reg Kelly, Table in the Wilderness. I want to talk to you today about how the Nazi Democrats in this country are using Hitler's playbook. The Nazi Democrats are using Hitler's playbook to the T, and I'll give you some examples of that in the next few minutes. First of all, if you remember in history, Hitler burned the Reichstag. He staged a false assault on the legislative body of Germany. And that's what happened up there in Washington, D.C. Yes, there were hundreds of thousands of Trump supporters there. But I tell you something, if you will look the facts up and you will just an honest observation, you'll know that there was something else going on there. Let me tell you something. I know hundreds and I know thousands of Trump supporters, and I know 3 different groups of people that were up there. And not one of them was even close to anybody or heard anything about any kind of attack on the Capitol. It was a staged thing. In fact of it is, I believe that some of those people that were killed were sacrificial lambs to accomplish. And you may say, well, you're way off the deep end. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. You look at it. You look at the people that were in there. There may have been some Trump supporters that got pulled into it, but it was a staged attack. And Hitler did a staged attack upon the Reichstag in Germany and used it as a excuse to clamp down on the freedoms of people. And now you've seen a fence go up around the Capitol and 20 to 30,000 troops around there. Exactly like Hitler, the Democrats. Another thing was Hitler had he not only had a staged attack upon their legislative body, but he had a staged assassination. And I believe that's what we saw up there in Washington, D.C. In Paris, he had a military man that he wanted rid of, a German military man that he wanted rid of. And so he orchestrated a 2-edged sword. He orchestrated a mentally disturbed Jewish boy to assassinate this German officer. So he got 2 things done. He got rid of the German officer that was a challenge to him and trouble to him. And he also aroused hatred toward the Jewish people of Germany. The Democrat Party right now is in a war against Christianity. That's the real war. It's a war against Christianity, against the Judeo-Christian ethic, the Judeo-Christian influence in this country. That's where it's at. From your colleges, high schools, grade schools, media, all the way down. There is a war against Judeo-Christianity. And just like Mrs. Green is being used now, she's being politically assassinated by the Democrats. And so you have these 2 staged things. Then the next one is when he wanted to invade Poland, he staged a false attack upon German soldiers, supposedly by Polish soldiers, which were not Polish soldiers at all, had German prisoners killed, dressed up in German uniforms by Polish dressed up German soldiers. And if you know anything about history, you know these 3 incidences that I'm giving you. Let me tell you something about history. It repeats itself. It's very, very predictable. And the Nazi Democrats in this country, and the Democrats are Nazis. And you see, they always call people what they are to try to throw you off. And so another thing I want to say to you that is the Dem Nazis, Hitler's playbook. Hitler had brown shirts. They were the beginning of the SS and all that kind of junk. And brown shirts were the Democrats' Antifa and BLM groups. They've got them. They burned down government buildings, burned down businesses, killed people, all kinds of garbage, rabid violence this past summer when Trump was president. But the Democrats thought they were just peaceful protesters while they were burning people down and looting and stealing and robbing and killing. You Democrats are the most wicked, vile hypocrites. You're starting to make Hitler look like he didn't know hardly what he was doing. You really took his playbook, haven't you? But if any conservatives do anything, they're violent protesters, they're insurrectionists, they're trying to take over the government and destroy the Capitol. You're hypocrites, and we know it. And let me just remind you something, that there were 70-some million of us voted for Trump. And we haven't gone to sleep, and we're not crawling back in the closet somewhere. We're right here. And we're ready to face you. We're ready to contest you in the political arena. And if even necessary, to fight you physically. That's the honest truth. That's why you're going for the Second Amendment now, isn't it? Because you don't want us to be armed. Are you scared? What are you scared of? Well, let me say further that Hitler controlled the media. He controlled everything people heard and saw in the newspapers and on the radio. In the movies, he controlled it all. And that's where you have Democrats now. So it's not and he just lied and he lied and he lied and he lied to everybody and anybody. And that's what the Democrat Nazi Party does to America now. They lie continuously. It's been one stinking, out of hell, satanic lie out of the mouth, the heart, and the minds of the Democrat Party almost as long as I've been alive. They're a sick bunch. Anybody that'll kill a baby in the womb, there's not anything they won't do. So I want to tell everybody out here, keep in mind this, learn from history. The Democrats are following Hitler's playbook to the T. We've got our work cut out for us. You need to get involved. You need to run for office. You need to speak up. You need to speak out. You need to stand up. This Reg Kelly table in the wilderness. And having done all, we're going to stand. And if God be for us, who can be against us? Until next time, so long.